So welcome to 2025. I'm Nate Dodson, the managing partner at Crowdfunding Lawyers. And so we help with, raising capital at the end of the day. Yes, we're a law firm, but going along with this crowdfunding, a great buzzword that sometimes people just don't know what it means. Finding investors is all about marketing. And there's a process to it. What you need to start doing before you're even asking for the money, leading up to asking for the money. And that's where we're going to just kind of go step by step through the process today of what you need to be starting right now to get things launched for 2025. It's been, an interesting year last year with kind of real estate changing quite a bit. We're really excited for this next year as the new administration that is super business, super real estate friendly is kicking in the next couple of weeks. So with that in mind, if you plan on doing any real estate projects, if you're looking to launch your company, if you're looking to build your legacy, we're going to go through how to do that with an investor base that you're going to grow. We're going to start with talking about generally what the strategies look like, because there's different things that happen simultaneously, and the way that you're leveraging your efforts to really be able to hit all the channels and get all the benefits out of it. Then we'll talk about the specific type of content, the specific type of advertising that you really should be doing. And finally, how to leverage your efforts from something, whether it's a social media post, a blog, a report, and how to repurpose it to really leverage your overall marketing plan. Ultimately, the goal is to build your investor base so you can get more deals done. So let's just dive right into it and we'll roll from there. Let's talk about strategy. And of course, the first steps is honestly trying to figure out where are your investors coming from and who are they? And that's going to be the basis of all of your marketing going forward to build your investor base, because there's different types of quality and suitability and number of investors for you to really take into account. And just the types of things to really think about. Hey, are you, trying to just target only the high net worth? Do you have that high net worth base within your network? And if you don't, how are you going to expand your network or expand your reach? We're going to talk a lot about online marketing, but the reality is we're going to talk about how to go beyond this online marketing so you can be leveraging what you already have within your network and grow your network itself. A lot of this comes down to really creating that content strategy and then how to release it and promote it to not only fund more investments, but also to build your list so that looking into the future, you're going to do an even better job of making things happen and happen fast. In terms of the strategic content, and what I mean, and don't even worry about the platforms or the methodology of how you're going to put it out there, but just what you need to be thinking about in terms of your content. Let's just go through these kind of broad topics. Number one, industry articles. Let's be frank, a lot of people that watch, they're in the real estate world. So you know what? You should always be putting out information, whether it's your blog information or other news articles and news sources about interest rates, about multifamily versus hospitality, about hospitality versus multifamily, whatever you're focusing on, help drive a distinction between other types of, we're just going to stick with real estate for right now, other competing categories of real estate with what you're really looking at and focusing on. As an example, if you are focused on hotels and hospitality, well, having the Airbnb, articles, it's actually helpful because there are problems within the Airbnb vacation rental industry, between regulations shutting it down, between the traditional managing all of these single family homes. Now, to hit the same market without those similar issues, well, do a hotel deal. Invest into one property that has 50 units instead of 50 single family homes at an ungodly cost. So there is ways to be able to spin the news that is out there into something that's favorable in terms of the targets and types of deals that you're focusing on. Secondarily, sharing your personal story, your adventure. What are you targeting? And we'll just stick with not just real estate, but hospitality and hotels. What you are targeting, hey, I'm looking at hotels. Why am I looking at hotels? Well, because these other areas don't make sense anymore. Multifamily has been the absolute best area to invest into for well over a decade now. Rents are sky high. We don't expect the appreciation that we've seen over the last dozen years. But let's be honest, the hotel space at a cost per door is maybe a half to a third of what the cost would be for a multifamily property. Secondarily, now all of a sudden, the hospitality and hotels are getting to be more exciting because of the Airbnb regulatory issues, as well as the problems that, well, you've all stayed at Airbnbs. You've all had problems at the Airbnbs. Guess what? If you go over to a Hilton, you don't have those same issues. So think about a hotel. These types of why you decided to target the industry. Wonderful. As people engage with you online, always be responsive. Communicate, share, interact with anybody that's commenting, because you know what? The more engagement and the more comments back and forth, there's a secondary reason to make sure that you're doing it. And it's not just with the engagement of the people that are on the post, although it makes the post look better. There's these mystery software algorithms that help push and share your information, your content beyond just your own group. It will, those kind of annoying sometimes people you should know. If you want to come up on that more and more and more, have engaging content that you're responsive, that people are also sharing back with you. And then finally, one of the biggest areas of content digestion, what people are doing, is watching videos, watching webinars. What you can share in a 15 to 20 minute video about the industry, about what you're doing, about your potential projects, that is going to truly draw people in and get them interested. It all comes together with your videos and webinars are talking about the industry, the information you're going to get from the articles. You're going to be sharing your personal journey of why you're focused on it. And then you are engaging with people that comment, post, follow, subscribe within the social media videos, whether they're, we could call them long form, maybe 5 to 15 minute videos. Short form is 30-second to a minute video. And then, of course, you can have these workshops very similar to what we host on YouTube Lives, such as this, as well as other areas. And then we'll get into how to repurpose and drive that traffic. At the end of the day, with all of this, you're focused on awareness. Awareness is the very start of the marketing process of if people don't know who you are or what you're doing, then it's all for naught. It's really the reason why you're getting out in there and doing it is to make sure that people know exactly what you're doing. Second purpose behind this strategic content is the authority. The why are people actually listening to you? Why are people following you, digesting your information? So we've got the awareness, we've got the authority, and then you're delivering people to the top of your funnel. And we'll talk about that shortly. At the end of the day, the entire purpose of all of this is to build your prospective investor base. We'll dive in a little bit more into testing the waters. In general, it means putting out potential projects that you may do. Maybe you have a property under contract. Maybe you're thinking about a new business plan. Maybe you're thinking about a new business acquisition that's very much becoming in vogue because we have the boomer generation, the older generation that is retiring, and wonderful opportunities for you to buy cash flowing profitable businesses from people that have been running it for 30 years. They are just looking to enjoy their retirement. Another industry, another area for you to focus on. But when I talk about testing the waters and putting it out there, and this is what I'm thinking about doing, again, it's not only that awareness, it's building the authority as well as the story. What projects are you thinking about and looking at? You know what? Share that online. Share that through your newsletters. And share if you ultimately decide to move forward with it or don't decide to move forward with it, both of which are important communications to put out there. You are, again, building your list. The people that show any indications of interest in the project that you're looking at, well, that not only is going to help define the strategy that you're going to be asking for their money, and we'll cover that. But if you decide to not move forward with the project, equally fantastic. Because in the next content, in the next posting and information that you're providing, you're explaining why you decided to not proceed and move forward with that real estate, with that acquisition, with that business itself. Why is that actually a good thing? You're building your authority all over again. You may look at 20 different projects before you move forward with one of them. Helping people understand the why you didn't move forward is equally as important as the why you actually did decide to proceed. It all comes down to that authority of why people should be listening to you. And not only that, they can see that you're really thinking through the projects that you're personally putting your efforts and creating the investments surrounding it. There's additional benefits to testing the waters because you're driving the traffic to your funnel. What I mean by a funnel is a landing page, and that landing page may have your investment project looking for those indications of interest. It may have a lead magnet, your own book, your own brochure or information about the types of projects, the industry, or what you're actually looking at. But you're giving something away to prospective investors with the purpose of, again, with the testing the waters, with the social media channels and the communications, to capture the information of the prospective investors. Because in addition to this online marketing and content, you also want to be thinking about email blasts, newsletter, and email solicitations asking for the investment. For email to actually be effective, you need as big and as deep of a list as humanly possible. There are some regulations you can use this, other regulations that limit that. We'll cover that. But at the end of the day, now we have a two-pronged online content, social media, video webinars, and then the direct contact through email communications, where not only should you be sending money, or you should be not only sending information out, but also being responsive, looking for that similar engagement to what you're doing with your social media content. Well, you want to be doing the same things and getting responsiveness from your direct email marketing as well.